All right. So now we are just going to discuss about the last topic of this chapter. Okay, that is Carnot's reversible engine. Okay. So see here, Carnot's reversible engine. Okay, it's a ideal reversible engine. Okay, so in this operation, the engine undergoes isothermal and adiabatic process. I think now you are aware of this isothermal and adiabatic process, right? In the isothermal process, in the isothermal process, the exchange of heat is allowed between the system and the surrounding, and the walls of the cylinder are perfectly conducting. Coming to adiabatic, in that case, the walls of the cylinder are perfectly insulated. Okay, and no heat is exchanged between the system and the surrounding. Okay, so since this engine, okay, come back to it undergoes several processes. Okay, it undergoes several processes and come back to its initial state. So hence we call this as a reversible heat engine. Okay, so Carnot's engine is called as Carnot's reversible heat engine. Okay, since it was done by the Carnot, so we also call this one as Carnot cycle. Okay, so let us see the what are the component of this reversible engine. Okay, the first is nothing but source. Okay, a hot body maintained at a fixed high temperature T1 is called source or reservoir. It has infinite thermal capacity and any amount of heat can be drawn from it without changing its temperature T1. Okay, so see here, this source is nothing but it is a body which is maintained at very high temperature. Okay, which is denoted by T1. Okay, so the body which is maintained at very high temperature is called as source or reservoir we call. Okay, so you can draw any amount of heat from this source or reservoir so that the temperature of that source doesn't changes. Okay, it remains the same. Just like if you consider a sea, if you take a bucket of water out of that sea, does it matter? Okay, it's negligible, right? So in the same way, even this source. Okay, even though if you draw the heat from the source, some amount of heat is drawn from the source, the temperature of the source remains constant, that is T1. Okay, so next is nothing but it is sink. Okay, sink is nothing but a body which is maintained at low temperature. Okay, body which is maintained at fixed low temperature, that is T2, is called sink. It has infinite thermal capacity and any amount of heat can be rejected to it without changing its temperature. Okay, so sink is nothing but a body which is maintained at very low temperature is called a sink. Okay, which is denoted by T2, and any amount of heat can be given to that sink, rejected or given. Any amount of heat can be rejected or given to the sink. Okay, so even though if you supply the heat, okay, even the heat is rejected to the sink or the heat is given to the sink, the temperature of the sink doesn't changes, it remains the same T2. Okay, so this is regarding the source and the sink. Next, coming to working substance. A cylinder with insulated sides and conducting base contains perfect gas as the working substance. A perfectly insulated and frictionless piston is fitted into the cylinder. Okay, so as you can see in the figure here, first you have source. Okay, that is T1. Next you have sink, that is T2. Next you have insulated stand. Okay, so no need to explain that insulated stand, right? You know that. So next we are placing the cylinder on the insulated stand. Okay, so this cylinder encloses the ideal gas, okay, or the perfect gas. Okay, what happened, Karthik, you want something? Yes, Karthik. Yes, Karthik, what do you want, man? Have some common sense, okay? Karthik Gowda, have some common sense. Okay, so the cylinder is placed on the insulated stand, and this cylinder encloses the ideal gas, okay, or the perfect gas, and the piston is of perfectly insulated and frictionless piston. Okay, so this is regarding the cylinder and the base of the cylinder. Okay, the base of the cylinder is perfectly conducting. Okay, base of the cylinder is perfectly conducting, and the piston of the cylinder is perfectly insulated and frictionless. Okay, and the sides of the cylinder and the piston is of perfectly insulated. Only the base of the cylinder is of conducting. Okay, so now we will start with how this Carnot's reversible engine works. Okay, so as of now you know that the cylinder is placed on the insulated stand. Okay, so now coming to the first, the working of a Carnot engine is carried out by a Carnot cycle through a reversible cycle performed in the following four steps. Okay, this Carnot cycle undergoes four steps. In that, first one is isothermal expansion. Okay, so this four processes what it undergoes, it is represented by a PV diagram we call. Okay, plotting P, that is the pressure on the y-axis, and volume in the x-axis. We are going to represent that. Okay, you can see in the figure here PV diagram. So A denotes the initial state of the gas. Okay, so now let us say that the ideal gas contained in the cylinder is placed on the source. Okay, so as of now you know that it is placed on the insulated stand. Now what we are going to do is we are going to place it on a source. Okay, so let us place the cylinder on the source. Next, ideal gas contained in a cylinder is placed on the source. The initial state is represented by point A on PV diagram with state P1 V1 T1. What is that? P1 V1 T1 denotes pressure, volume and temperature of the gas. Okay, when it is placed on the source. Okay, next, the gas acquires temperature of T1 of the source and is allowed to expand by slow outward motion of the piston. So temperature of gas falls, therefore gas expands isothermally. This operation is called isothermal expansion and it is represented by curve AB. Okay, so see here what happens is, as you know that when you place the cylinder on the source. Okay, so what happens, as you know that the base of the cylinder is perfectly conducting. Okay, when you place the cylinder on the source. Okay, so what happens, the heat is drawn from the source. Okay, the heat flows from source to the cylinder. So what happens, the temperature of the gas increases. Okay, so then what happens, this gas starts to expand. Okay, so this is regarding the isothermal expansion, right? So next they have given, if Q1 is the heat absorbed and W1 is the work done by the gas during isothermal expansion from initial state A into P1 V1 T1 to B P2 V2 T1. Okay, so see here what happens here is, first of all you are placing the cylinder on the source. Okay, as you know that the heat starts to flow from source to the cylinder. Initially the pressure, volume and temperature of the gas when it is placed on the source is this one, P1 V1 T1. So when you place the cylinder on the source, what happens, heat starts to flow from source to cylinder. So what happens, as I said, the temperature of the gas starts to increase, so gas starts to expand. So due to that expansion, what happened, piston moves in the upward direction. So what does it mean, when the piston moves, when the piston is moved in the upward direction, we say that work is done by the gas or work is done by the system. Okay, correct. So what happens here, when the gas starts to expand, what happens, the pressure which was P1 initially, okay, before heat starts to flow from source to cylinder. It was P1, right? So now it changes to P2. Next, the volume initially was V1, so now it changes to V2, but the temperature remains the same. Why is that? Because we are dealing with isothermal expansion. So in the isothermal expansion, as you know, that the temperature remains the same, it doesn't changes. Okay, so T1 remains the same. Okay, so this is regarding the isothermal expansion. So P1, V1, T1 was the initial pressure, volume and temperature of the gas. So once the gas is allowed to expand, what happens? The pressure volume changes, that is from P1, V1 to P2, V2, but the temperature remains the same, that is T1. Okay, since we are dealing with isothermal expansion. So next, we need to write the work done in this case. Okay, and one more thing before that, as you know that in the PV diagram, let me explain the first thing. At point A, okay, it denotes the initial state of the pressure, volume and temperature of the gas, that is P1, V1, T1. So once it undergoes the isothermal expansion, it comes at point B. Okay, so there, as I said, the pressure volume changes but the temperature remains same. That is what they have given in at B. You can see there P2, V2, T1. So from A to B, the gas undergoes isothermal expansion without changing the value of temperature. Okay, so this is regarding the PV diagram there. Next, we need to calculate the work done. As I said, work done is nothing but what? Work done is equal to, we will denote that one by W1. Let us say that Q1 is the amount of heat is absorbed from the cylinder. I said that heat flows from source to the cylinder, right? Or it can be expressed as amount of heat absorbed by the cylinder, one and the same. Okay, so hence if you consider Q1 is the amount of heat absorbed by the cylinder, so work done is equal to Q1, you can write that is nothing but equal to PdV. Okay, so PdV, as you know that integral we are going to take from V1 to V2. Why is that? You know that V1 is the initial volume of the gas and V2 is the final volume of the gas. Okay, so that is the thing there. So PdV, that is nothing but equal to, what is the equation of work done in an isothermal process? Just I'll show you. I don't know whether you remember or not. Okay, so here this is the amount of work done, that is this one. Okay, W is equal to RT log base E V2 by V1. This is the equation. In the next step, we have just converted from log base E to log base 10. That is different. Okay. So, but the work done comes out to be in the isothermal processes. W is equal to RT log base E V2 divided by V1. Okay. So, this is the work done. So, next, that is what we are written here. See here, that is nothing but equal to RT log V2 by V1, right? So since RT is a constant, we will replace that itself. Temperature is nothing but T1, right? The temperature remains the same. So RT1 log base E V2 by V1. Okay, just we have retained the work done in an isothermal process equation. Okay, that is nothing but equal to area. Okay, that is nothing but equal to area ABRP. From the PV diagram, you can see that the system changes from A to B, and that corresponding from B, it has been, you will write that one as ABRP. Okay, you have corresponding line which joins from A to P, and you have corresponding line from B to R. So we will represent area as ABRP. Okay, so this is regarding the equation 1, that is isothermal expansion. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀಯ ಡ್ಯಾಡಿ ನೀನು? ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀಯ? ಸೌಂಡ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಕೊಡು. Okay, so this is regarding the isothermal expansion. Okay, did you follow? Do one thing, say this Carnot's cycle is very very important. As I said, it is a 5 marks question. Okay, and it is this derivation is little bit lengthy. Okay, So just go through about this isothermal expansion once. Okay, just go through the figure, that is this one. Similarly, go to the PV diagram, go go through the explanation and equation. In case if you have any doubts regarding this first isothermal expansion, please let me know. Because if you are not understood this, then it will be complicated when I'm explaining this isothermal compression. Okay, so just go through about this isothermal expansion once. Kushi, RT log V2 by V1 has been not changed to area. Okay, just we are comparing that with the PV diagram. Okay, this is the amount of work done. Work done in an isothermal expansion is W1 is equal to RT1 log base E V2 by V1. That is nothing but equal to, we are just comparing that work done with respect to PV diagram there. Okay, so in the PV diagram, area is nothing but what? That is AB RP. Just we have compared that. It doesn't changes. Okay. Next, Ganesh is the temperature of the gas falls or it remains the same. Yeah, good question. So see here, what happens exactly here is, see here, when you place the cylinder on the source. Okay, when you place the cylinder on the source, okay, later as you know that the pressure, volume and temperature of the gas enclosed in a cylinder is nothing but P1, V1, T1, right? So next what happens, when you, since the base of the cylinder is perfectly conducting, so what happens, let us say that Q1 is the amount of heat drawn from the cylinder, okay, from the source. So what happens next is nothing but, as you know that the temperature of the gas increases, right? Correct. So next what we are going to do is, we will allow the gas to expand. Okay, we will allow the gas to expand. So as you know that when the gas expand, what happens, the temperature should decrease, right? Correct. When the gas is allowed to expand, the temperature should decrease. But since that loss in temperature is compensated by this source, okay, so when the gas is allowed to expand, there will be a decrease in temperature. Okay, but since the cylinder is placed on the source, okay, and it is of perfectly conducting base, so when the temperature starts to fall, what happens, that is compensated by the source. Again the source, I mean again the heat flows from source to the cylinder, thereby maintaining the temperature constant there. Is it fine? When the gas is allowed to expand, the temperature starts to decrease, but since you have placed the cylinder on the source, so what happens, the heat starts to flow. I mean, it is nothing but it doesn't allow the temperature to fall. It remains the constant since you have placed the cylinder on the source. Okay, fine. Have you understood the first thing there, isothermal expansion? Shall we move to adiabatic now? In case if you have any doubts, you can ask regarding the isothermal expansion. Okay, fine. Tasneem has asked some doubt. Let me see. If the piston is moved, then only temperature will fall. Tasneem, now as you know that when the gas is allowed to expand, I said right, expansion is nothing but what? It exerts the force on the piston, right? Correct. So that the piston moves in the upward direction. So that is what we have said. The pressure, volume, and temperature all changes. All the three will change. Pressure, volume, and temperature. Okay. But since you have placed the cylinder on the source, what happens? As I said, the cylinder draws the heat. Okay. That whatever loss in temperature occurs when the gas is allowed to expand, that is compensated by source. Okay, heat flows again so that it maintains the temperature same. Okay, so hence the temperature doesn't changes. Okay, but the pressure and volume changes there. Okay, so this is regarding the isothermal expansion. So next, coming to adiabatic expansion. See now, as you know that first, in the first isothermal expansion, what we did is we placed the cylinder on the source, right? So now again we are shifting the cylinder from source to the insulated stand. Okay. So understand the process here now. You are placing the cylinder from source to the from source to insulated stand. So next, what happens? Let us see here. Now cylinder is removed from the source and is placed on the perfectly insulated stand, and the gas is allowed to expand adiabatically. So the temperature of the gas falls. Let the gas is allowed let the gas is expanded slowly till its temperature falls to T2, and this is represented by adiabatic curve BC. This operation is called adiabatic expansion. If W2 is the work done by the gas during adiabatic expansion from the initial state from B to C, that is from P2 V2 T1 to P3 V3 T2. Okay, so here, as you know that when you place the cylinder on the insulated stand, so what happens? Okay, now what we are going to do is we are allowing the gas to expand. Okay, we are allowing the gas to expand. So what happens, since the gas is allowed to expand, what happens? There will be a decrease in temperature, right? So temperature falls, temperature decreases. Similarly, the pressure, volume changes. See now, before allowing the gas to expand, okay, the value of the pressure, volume, and temperature was P2 V2 T1. Okay, now placing the cylinder on the insulated stand where we are allowing the gas to expand. So what happens? The pressure changes from P2 to P3, volume changes from V2 to V3, and temperature falls from T1 to T2. As you know that when the gas is allowed to expand, the temperature decreases. Okay, so this is the process. Okay, when the adiabatic expansion takes place, this is the changes of volume, temperature, and pressure takes places. Okay, from P2 V2 T1 to P3 V3 T2. So that is denoted by the area. You can see here from B to C here. Okay, so that curve, that area comes out to be as BCSR. Okay, area representing the adiabatic expansion in the PV diagram is nothing but it is BCSR. Okay, now we need to calculate the work done. Since you know that when the gas is allowed to expand, I said right, So piston moves in the upward direction. So work done should be, so work is done by the system, right? So that work done is nothing but equal to W2. Okay. Next, integral of from limits taking from V2 to V3. Since you know that the volume is changing from V2 to V3 in the adiabatic expansion. So we are taking from V2 to V3 limits. PdV is equal to R divided by gamma, R divided by gamma minus 1 into T1 minus T2. Okay. So this is nothing but equation of work done in an adiabatic process. Okay. This is what we have taken. W is equal to R divided by gamma minus 1 T1 minus T2. Just we have replaced the same thing. Okay. So you can see here R divided by gamma minus 1 into T1 minus T2, that is nothing but equal to area BCSR. Okay. So this is regarding the adiabatic expansion. So now just go through about this adiabatic expansion clearly. Okay. So just go through the explanation, just go through the PV diagram and the equation too. Okay. Just go through for a few minutes. In case if you have any doubts, you can let me. Yes, any doubts? How about others? I'm just getting reply from only the students. Ganashri, Kushi Roy, Tasneem, Likita, Gokul. Okay. Okay, fine. So this is regarding the adiabatic expansion. Okay. So next, isothermal compression. Okay. The third one is isothermal compression. See now, what we are going to do is again we are shifting the cylinder from insulated stand to sink here. Okay, just we are placing the cylinder from insulated stand to sink, placing the cylinder on sink now. Okay, so let us see what happens here now when this cylinder is placed on the sink. Now cylinder is removed from the insulated stand and is placed on the sink at temperature T2. The piston is moved slowly to compress the gas. Due to this heat, Due to this, heat will be produced which will pass to sink through the conducting base of the cylinder so that temperature of the gas remains constant T2. This operation is called isothermal expansion compression and is represented by the curve CD in the PV diagram. Okay, so they have said that if Q2 is the heat released during compression of the gas to the sink, and W3 is the work done on the gas by the surroundings to move from the state C to D, that is from P3 V3 T2 to P4 V4 T2. See here now, as you know that we are placing the cylinder on the sink. Okay, so now what happens? We are compressing the gas. The gas is allowed to compress now. Compress is nothing but what? We are allowing the piston. The piston is moving in the downward direction now. Okay, so the piston is moving in the downward direction, and the gas is allowed to compress. So what happens when the gas is compressed? The temperature of the gas increases, right? But the temperature of the gas doesn't increases here. It remains the same. Okay. So I'll tell you how that temperature remains the same here. See here, when the gas is allowed to compress, what happens? The temperature of the gas increases, right? So whatever that excess increase in temperature occurs during the compression of the gas is rejected to the sink here. Okay, so the temperature of the gas inside the cylinder remains the same. Okay, this is the process occurs in the isothermal compression. Okay, I'll repeat once again here. When we place the cylinder on the sink and the gas is compressed. Okay, so when the gas compresses, what happens? The temperature of the gas should increase, but that excess temperature, okay, is rejected to the sink. So by rejecting the heat to the sink, what happens? The temperature of the gas is maintained same. Okay, so that is the thing. So that heat rejected is denoted by Q2. Q2 is the amount of heat rejected to the sink during the compression. So and the work done here is nothing but it is negative here. As you know that when the work is done by the system, it is positive. When the work is done on the system, it is negative. Now the work is done on the system, that is compression, right? So hence the work done is taken as W3, that is nothing but equal to Q2. Q2 is the amount of heat rejected, right? So that is nothing but equal to negative sign there. Since the work done is negative, so we have taken negative sign there. Integral of volume changes from V3 to V4. As you know that initially the pressure, volume and temperature was this much, this one, P3 V3 T2. Once the gas is allowed to compress, what happens? The pressure changes from P3 to P4, volume changes from V3 to V4, but the temperature remains constant. Okay, since we are dealing with isothermal. Okay, so this is the thing. So hence the equation 3 comes out to be as minus integral of from limits v1 to from integral limits v3 to v4 pdv. Again the same equation we are going to retain what we have taken here. In only the negative sign is there. Okay, minus r t2 log base e v4 by v3, that is nothing but equal to rt2 log base e v3 by v4. Okay, since you know that here it is negative sign here, minus rt2 log base e v4 by v3. In order to express that in terms of positive, we are going to write rt2 log base e, instead of v4 by v3 we are going to write v3 by v4. Okay, and the area in the PV diagram comes out to be as CDQS. CDQS. Okay, so area CDQS represents the isothermal compression. Okay, so next I think we have left out with only 2 minutes. Okay, just I'll complete this here. Next one, next adiabatic compression. So what we are going to do is, again here is we are just shifting the cylinder from sink to the insulated stand itself. Okay, next what happens when the cylinder is placed on the insulated stand? So again the gas is allowed to compress there. Okay, the gas is allowed to compress. So what happens in this case? The pressure, volume, temperature value was this much. Okay, for before placing the cylinder on the insulated stand P4 V4 T2. So now once the cylinder is placed on the insulated stand and the gas is allowed to compress, so what happens? The pressure changes from P4 to P1, volume changes from V4 to V1, and the temperature changes from T2 to T1. Okay, so that means that the temperature increases in this case, right? So that is what it has been represented here. Again, the cylinder is placed on the insulated stand. The piston is further moved to compress the gas to reach its initial volume V1 and pressure P1. So as you know that whatever the value we have got, it is nothing but the initial state, right? So initial state, what is the value of pressure, volume and temperature? P1, V1, T1, right? So that is what the cylinder, I mean the Carnot cycle, okay, Carnot engine undergoes its various process and come back to its initial state. That is what it is represented here. So thus the system returns to its initial state A, that is P1 T1, P1 V1 T1. It is represented by the curve dA. This operation while moving from state D to A is nothing but P4 V4 T2 to P1 V1 T1. So that means that we conclude that the system has been reached to its initial state. Okay. Now the work done, as you know that the work is done on the system, right? So work done comes out to be negative there. So W4 is equal to minus of integral V4 to V1. Since the volume changes from V4 to V1, we have taken limit as V4 to V1. PdV, that is nothing but equal to minus of R divided by gamma minus 1 into T2 minus T1. There we have taken T1 minus T2, right? And now here the temperature has been changed from T2 to T1 now. Okay. So hence we have taken T2 minus of T1 now. So next, since you have the negative sign here, in order to write the positive, we are going to write that one as R divided by gamma minus 1 into T1 minus T2. That is nothing but equal to area dAPQ, which is represented by the PV diagram. Area is nothing but equal to dAPQ. Okay. So do one thing. We have left out with a few minutes. Just a minute, I'm taking the attendance. Okay. So just go through this till here. Okay. Till W1, W2, W3 and W4. Okay. So next is nothing but the mathematics steps we will discuss in the next class. Okay. Just go through about this working of this Carnot cycle carefully. Okay. Just practice the equations. Okay. Equations is little bit difficult. Okay. So in the examination, most of the student goes wrong. Okay. Just go through the equation, compare that with the PV diagram. Okay. Just go through everything. In case if you have any doubts regarding this working, either it can be isothermal expansion, compression or adiabatic expansion, compression, you can let me in the next class. Okay. I'll clear your doubts. Okay. Mohammed Saifullah, do one thing. You ask your doubts in the next class. It's time up. Okay. The meeting gets default, it gets disconnected. Okay. So I'll